Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod, Bitcoin pumping, back in the green. In today's show, we'll be discussing Bitcoin buyers waiting below 58,000 as Japan wipes out, record stock crash. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin at a perfect macro setup, but a dip below 58,000 risks 500 million in liquidations. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin can resist the wrath of God, says the Tether CEO. Here's exactly what he means by that. We'll also be discussing breaking news. El Salvador, Bitcoin country, seals $1.6 billion deal to modernize ports and bring Bitcoin City to life. Bitcoin City, stack them biddies. We'll also be discussing legendary Fibonacci extension reveals when the Bitcoin price will likely reach $109,000 per coin. Also be sharing Macau Van Day Pop's 250,000 big run Bitcoin target, as well as analyst helps Forbes that Bitcoin can hit 1 million per coin as soon as next year in 2025. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. But anyways, fam, welcome everyone to the stream. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes, hit the subscribe button, and then hit that bell icon to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 1729. I'm your host, JV. It's August 13th, 2024, and the markets are back in the green. We reclaim 61 G's, baby, with Bitcoin up roughly $1,700 on the day. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do every day. You can see Bitcoin up 3%, Ether up almost 2% on the day, Solana up 1.5%, even XRP up 2% as the bulk of the market is all pumping. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at $2.15 trillion, with the Bitcoin market cap sitting back above $1.2 trillion. We got roughly 70 billion worth of volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance currently at 56.3%, with the Ether dominance at 15.2%. And checking out the SOT 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Stacks leading the pack, up 11.5%, followed by Rune, followed by Celestia, followed by Maker, and AKT. Which alt, if any, family are you guys bullish on? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective on the day. It's good to see the bulk of the market back in the green. It's a beautiful sight. And zooming out on the monthly, unfortunately, still wreck city overall. 90 to 95% of the market wrecked and in the red. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index today, we're 31 in fear, and check it. Yesterday we did tap 25 in extreme fear, and lo and behold, we got a pump. And that's why I love this metric. The lower we go in extreme fear, the more likely of a pump, and vice versa. So there you have it, family. Where do you feel that Bitcoin price action will likely take us for this rest of the month of August? And considering we had a very bearish June, July monthly close. But anyways, fam, let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out some of the live charts and discuss where the price action may likely take us next. Bitcoin buyers wait below 58,000 as Japan wipes out, record stock crash. That's right. Here you're looking at the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin shrugged off global macroeconomic events on August 13th as the Bitcoin price action stayed below 60 G's, baby. That's right. Trading views showed a lackluster Wall Street open for the biddy, which contrasted with the stock markets. The bullish mood was led by Japan on the day, which saw the Nikkei 225 completely recover its record losses from earlier in the month. The index closed at 36,000 points, up 3.5% on the day. Meanwhile, U.S. equities also posted a promising start, with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ index up 0.8% and 1.4% within the first hour. The strong performance was aided by the July print of the PPI, which came in below expectations, a key driver behind bets of interest rate cuts and increased capital flowing to risk assets. And as you can see printed here by the Kabisi letter, breaking July PPI inflation falls 2.2% below expectations, yada, yada, yada. The latest data from the CME Group FedWatch tool showed the market's favoring a larger 0.5% rate cut by the Fed at its next meeting scheduled for September. And prior to the PPI release, markets ascribed a greater chance at 0.25% cut. And commenting on the crypto reaction, we had analyst Dan Crypto Trades showed how the macro data releases often result in short-term fake out moves. Quoting him here, this was just PPI, so the move wasn't large. We tend to see similar things on CPI, which often causes much larger and slightly slower whipsaw moves, as outlined here in the chart. He also referred to the upcoming CPI print due on August 14th, which is tomorrow, family, on Wednesday. Quoting the analyst again, PPI, not a bad start, coming in slightly below, which I think is good. Gives the Fed room to start cutting part, and he also shared, but also not going into the negative where we'd have to start getting afraid for deflation yet. And also continuing on the macro theme, QCP Capital suggested that CPI would form a highlight of the week for the markets. Investors, it said in its latest bulletin, they will closely watch inflation numbers for guidance on whether the Fed will cut the rates by 50 or 25 BPS in September. What are your thoughts? We also have another analyst, Macau Van De Pop. He gave September as a guideline date for Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs. Let's go. Continuing what popular narrative prior to the early August crash to 6-month lows, quoting him here. Great bounce last week on Bitcoin. However, I'd like to see 60,000 break, which we just broke. If that happens, I am quite sure that we'll be seeing a new all-time high in September/October. Do you agree with that sentiment? Now that we just broke 60 Gs clearly, do you think we're on track for a new price discovery mode, which ultimately means entering a new all-time high? The current price discovery is sitting at 73.8, which we achieved back in mid-March. It's been a hot minute. Let me know your thoughts, fam. And checking out some of the live charts for you guys. Here's the 1-hour chart. You see a few different looks as far as price targets are concerned. Again, this is live and in the flesh. Here's a better look. We're currently just sitting above $61,100. This is the hourly chart. Look at that big green candle, family. Tell me that ain't sexy. Pretty massive. We do have a target as well sitting at $63,790. So you can see there is a bullish breakout right now in the 1-hour chart with that massive candle. Respect the pump, family. And zooming out, get a broader perspective. Let's check out the 4-hour candle. You can see here in your chart, also 2 big consecutive green candles on the 4-hour, which is pretty lit. So definitely bullish momentum kicking in. And zooming out for the 1 day, as you can see live and in the flesh, we had that mega Godzilla demigod candle a few days ago. After we tapped the new bottom of 49,000, it took us right back to 62. And you can see where we're currently at. We do have a target sitting south at 47.7 on the daily chart. And let's zoom out a little broader. We'll check out the weekly. And on the 1 week, we still have that pretty cup and handle target sitting just above $125,500. And we'll get one more look here on the monthly. As you can see on your screen, we had 7 green consecutive monthly candle closes, and it's been red, green, red, green, red, and a little sideways trading action. Hopefully we can break out of the bearish sentiment we have had for the month of June and July and, end with a nice green candle for the month of August and continue that bullish momentum into September and into Q4 of this year. But let me know your thoughts, family, before we dive into the next story. Our next story of the day, this headline reads, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen first. Bitcoin at perfect macro setup, but a dip below 58 Gs risks a 500 million worth of liquidations. So that's right. Bitcoin is at a perfect setup for the macroeconomic perspective, but over 500 million worth of looming liquidations threaten to create more volatility for the world's first crypto. In relation to the global M2 money supply, Bitcoin's current mid-cycle correction positions it for an imminent bullish breakout, according to Jamie Couts, chief crypto analyst over at Real Vision, quoting him here. Over the past decade, Bitcoin has had a tendency to trough several months before the bottom in the global M2. Then it rips, gets way ahead of the move in liquidity, and has a mid-cycle correction. Now, as you can see here, it shows you the Bitcoin and M2 money supply chart. The growing global liquidity from the M2 money supply combined with the spot Bitcoin ETFs makes for the perfect setup for the biddy. The analysis comes as Bitcoin is recovering from last week's 510 billion crypto market sell-off, which tanked the Bitcoin price to a new low of 49.5 recorded on August 5th. Now, Bitcoin still remains under the key 60,000 psychological mark. Well, up until about an hour or two ago, now we're back above it and currently above 61,000. So take that. Now, despite the bullish macroeconomic perspective, Bitcoin price can still see a correction to the 55,000 level, according to CoinGlass. A potential move below 58,000 will liquidate almost 500 million worth of cumulative leverage short positions across all the major exchanges. The short Bitcoin liquidations could surpass 800 million if the Bitcoin price fell below 57,500. Bitcoin is currently trying to break out of the downtrend, which it started back on July 28th, and it looks like we're breaking out of it alive and in the flesh right now. Quoting analyst Red Capital, as time goes on, the downtrend represents lower prices, meaning the retest attempts could go lower prices and still be successful. The key here is the trend continuation. Bitcoin needs to experience strong buy-side volume on the retest of the downtrend. Other analysts are eyeing a potential Bitcoin correction of 55,000 before Bitcoin can gain more upwards momentum. And it sounds like all that just got invalidated because we just broke above 60,000 here this morning and we're back above 61,000. So things are looking good. And again, line in the sand, long as we can maintain above 58,000, we will avoid 500 million worth of liquidations. But let's dive into our next story and discuss, we discussed that 500 million liquidation if we drop below 58. Now let's discuss the wrath of God. Interesting headline here. Bitcoin can resist the wrath of God, says Tether CEO Paolo. Here's what he means by that. So yeah, Tether chief executive Paolo thinks geopolitical tensions and macroeconomic trends are going to increase the importance of scarce assets such as Bitcoin and gold. He says in a new interview with investor and venture capitalist Preston Pish that he doesn't think the globe is headed towards a nicer period for humanity, citing bubbling geopolitical issues across the world. Quoting him here, there's so much tension starting from Europe, very, very high tension, to the US, to everywhere else in the world. Things are not nice. And so having an exposure to scarce assets like Bitcoin and gold is the way to go. The Tether CEO notes that fear is driving China and other countries to buy up enormous amounts of gold. He encourages individual investors to buy gold or Bitcoin in the same way. Quoting him here, everyone's fearful that something is going to happen. Buying Bitcoin and gold is the most intelligent thing you can do with your profits. With your profits, you should start investing a portion of them into something that can resist the wrath of God. And maybe I am wrong, but we are going to experience that sometime in the future. So he's ultimately making a prediction that the wrath of God is coming down. And if you don't have Bitcoin or gold, you're doomed. Ultimately, the sentiment I get from it. What are your thoughts? Now, Tether issues USDT, the largest stablecoin by market cap, and it aims to maintain that 1-1 peg with the US dollar. And clearly, it is the first stablecoin to ever exist in crypto, and they have a first mover's advantage, and they're absolutely crushing it. And when it comes to stablecoins, there is no second best. But let me know your thoughts surrounding some of his predictions there, that you need some gold or Bitcoin, and which do you choose? Or do you choose both? Let me know. Me, I don't really invest in gold. Granted, I do have some gold chains. Granted, I do have a gold rod in my favorite crystal, which I shared on Show and Tell during yesterday's stream. But nonetheless, I believe in the Bitcoin because I believe Bitcoin is superior in every facet in which you can compare Bitcoin to gold, right? Bitcoin is the settlement, so it's superior to all other forms of money. When you make a Bitcoin transaction, the transaction is the settlement. That is what makes it totally superior, because with fiat, the banks don't trust the other banks, and there is, the transaction takes time to settle is the bigger picture. And the same thing with gold when gold is transferred, right? So with Bitcoin, the transaction is the settlement. For that reason alone, it's superior than all other forms of money. And then we start to compare it, divisibility. One Bitcoin can be divided by 100 million Satoshis. By the time a Satoshi is worth 10 cents, we'll have a $10 million Bitcoin price. By the time a Satoshi is valued at $1 USD, we'll have a $100 million Bitcoin price. Portability. Try traveling with some gold bars, most likely just be confiscated, from you. Meanwhile, you can have billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Remember your passphrase from your cold storage device. You can go through the airport, no problem, right? Also, scarcity. Bitcoin has true scarcity. There is a finite limited supply. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. Gold, they will forever find more gold on the earth, just as they have been doing for the past thousands of years. That's not going to slow down anytime soon. And I can go on and on. Unconfiscatable, immutable, un-F-wittable. There's no comparison whatsoever. Bitcoin is the apex predator, and it's coming. And all assets, including real estate, as I demonstrated previously with that throwback post of that person ultimately spending 750 Bitcoin on a house, Bitcoin's also demonetizing not only gold and money, but real estate. Take that, family. Next story of the day. Let's discuss El Salvador, Bitcoin country. I'm rocking the hat, so good stuff. Headline reads, El Salvador seals a $1.6 billion deal to modernize ports and bring Bitcoin City to life. Can you say Bitcoin City? That's right. Yieldport Holdings, owned by a Turkish company, invested a whopping $1.6 billion for the renovation and modernization of two such ports, Aga Jutla and La Union. This is undoubtedly the largest private money ever poured into the history of the country, and as such is expected to trigger further economic growth in the country. So more power to the Turkish company here, Yieldport Holdings. That's what's up. So yeah, the announcement was revealed via President Bukele. He explained an investment of more than $1.6 billion would be made by Yieldport Holdings in the upgrading of the Pacific port of La Union and modernizing Ajatula. Currently, the port facilities of La Union are grossly underutilized, with hardly any ships calling at the seaport due to the old infrastructure. Here's the announcement from Najib Bukele. And that's pretty lit. I can't wait for Bitcoin City, family. The terms of the agreement would permit Yieldport and CEPA, the Autonomous Executive Port Commission, to manage the ports for the next 5 decades, 50-year plan here. It is a long-term partnership expected to revive the ports and improve logistics in the region. And for Federico, the president of CEPA, it was an investment of major importance. As he stated, El Salvador is becoming a very important logistics hub in Latin America. And according to him, it will strengthen the country's position in world trade through modernization of the ports. Work on the project will start at the end of this year, 2024, and will be carried out in phases. A system enabling facilities to be upgraded without any disturbance. And as you can see here, the breaking news, El Salvador announces $1.6 billion private investment, the biggest in the nation's history. The $1.6 billion investment will modernize the port, which we mentioned, and also build Bitcoin City, family. So Bitcoin City can't come soon enough. The investment in port infrastructure is attached to a more comprehensive vision, the city of the future, Bitcoin City, which Bukele announced back in 2021. The metropolis of the city shall have no taxes. I repeat, the metropolis of the city shall have no taxes and shall be run by geothermal energy. That's volcano energy, family, specifically mined for the Bitcoins. Now, port developments from part of the logistical and trading infrastructure, which shall service the needs of the city, hence ensure the growth and attraction of more investment. Residential areas, businesses, and leisure activities are supposed to abound in the metropolis. Originally intended to be funded by crypto bonds, this project would confirm El Salvador's dedication to include cryptos into its financial system. The decision piqued excitement amongst crypto investors who showed hope for the nation's capacity to manage its economic growth via creative means. The $1.6 billion project will make El Salvador a hub for transit and business. The port upgrade will help stretch the country's coast. The country's partnership with the famous Turkish company is expected to help the government create jobs and more. So there you go. Bitcoin City, stand up. And shout out El Salvador, Bukele, and the rest of the fam holding it down. Next story of the day, eh? We discussed the latest with El Salvador. Now let's discuss this $109,000 target. According to the Fibonacci, one of the most accurate indicators in the world. And then we'll discuss Bitcoin potentially hitting $1 million by 2025. And then we'll dive into some live Q&A, family. So yeah, here. Legendary Fibonacci extension reveals when Bitcoin will reach 109 G's, baby. CryptoCon predicted on X, sharing a post that the Bitcoin Fibonacci extension is set to push Bitcoin over 100,000 as it rises to 109,236,000. I'm sorry, $109,236. A move which the analyst added could happen by the end of this year. Let me know if you agree with that. He suggests Bitcoin reaching 109,000 specifically by December 2024. So we're in August, so September, October, November, December, which ultimately means within 4 months, family. Let me know if you agree. It says will only likely happen if the 1 month behind the 2023 trend continues. The analyst's chart, which you can see on your screen, shows that Bitcoin had hit a local top this year, 1 month ahead of each local top in 2023. And I believe that was when we hit the 73.8 target back in mid-March. The last local top for Bitcoin 2023 rolled over into 2024 and occurred in January of 2024. Based on the trend, the next local top could happen in December rather than rolling over into the next year. Bitcoin's potential rise to 100,000 and even 109,000 is one that several other analysts, such as Standard Chartered head of digital asset research Geoffrey Kendrick, have predicted would happen at some point. And interestingly, Kendrick stated that Bitcoin would reach 100,000 ahead of the U.S. elections in November and hit 150,000 by the year end if Trump wins the presidential election. And speaking of Kendrick,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Wait, we're talking different Kendrick, but I digress. Meanwhile, based on CryptoCon's most recent analysis, a rise to 109,000 is unlikely to be the market top for Bitcoin, as the flagship crypto still has a long way to go in this bull run. Agreed. The analyst stated that he is convinced that Bitcoin still has over a year of the bull market to go based on the 3-week Fibonacci channel RSI. This coincides with crypto analyst Red Capital's prediction that the market top won't come until sometime in September or October 2025. If history is to repeat or rhyme, that's precisely around the time we'll hit the all-time high, because typically it's an 18-month run-up post-halving. And we just had the halving officially occur back on April 19th of this year, which means we're going to be running bullish all throughout next year as well as Q4 this year, family. Now, Bitcoin could even reach 250,000 this bull run, according to crypto analyst McAlvin A. Pop, who has raised the possibility of Bitcoin rising as high as $250,000 per coin this particular market cycle. He stated Bitcoin's monthly candle closing at around 60,000 could be the consolidation before the big bull breakout, which would likely be the start of the Bitcoin big run to 250,000. Now, the 250,000 price target is still below the CryptoQuant CEO Qi Zhangzhu's prediction. The Bitcoin could achieve a market top of 265,000 in this market cycle. He made this prediction based on the hash rate market cap ratio, which he claims supports a Bitcoin market cap 3 times larger than the one it clocked during the last cyclical top. So there you have it, yo. And right now we got the Bitcoin market cap, as I shared earlier, probably sitting at roughly, what is that? Just 1.2 trillion as of today, as we're making a recovery there, family. And in fact, let me actually share with you the tweet from McAlvin A. Pop real quick before we dive into our feature story. He wrote, "It is still early in the month, but if the monthly candle of Bitcoin is going to close around 60,000, it seems like its consolidation before the big bull breakout very likely will be at the start of the big run of Bitcoin to 250,000 plus and the surge of the altcoins." So there you go, crypto bros. Now for our featured story of the day. Analyst tells Forbes magazine that Bitcoin could hit 1 million per coin as soon as next year. And in fact, that's the headline here in today's feature story. So let's break this baby down. Bitcoin has endured a tumultuous, make sure I'm pronouncing this right, tumultuous period over the past few weeks, with its value experiencing significant swings. After peaking at around 70 Gs back in July, the crypto plunged below 48,000 on August 5th. However, it has since demonstrated signs of resurgence. In fact, we're currently right back at 61 Gs at the time of the live stream. Now, in a recent interview with Forbes, Himanshu, founder and chairman of CIFDAQ Blockchain Ecosystem, presented an eye-catching forecast suggesting that Bitcoin could potentially hit $1 million per coin by 2025. While this prediction might seem audacious, he believes several factors can drive Bitcoin towards this milestone. Notably, the pundit pointed to the increasing adoption of Bitcoin, the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs in various countries, and rising concerns of a fiat currency devaluation as key drivers. The pundit also emphasized the recent halving event on April 20th, It actually occurred here in the United States on the 19th, but I guess it all depends upon what, time zone you're in and what country of the world. It's nice to say 420, though. It just has a certain ring to it, doesn't it? Which reduced the rate at which the new Bitcoins are created as another factor influencing his predictions. Historically, the Bitcoin halvings have led to significant price increases due to the reduced supply. Quoting him here, predicting a $1 million Bitcoin might appear overly optimistic, but the increasing institutional interest and the regulatory support for cryptos make this scenario plausible. Amen. 100%. Very doable. Elsewhere, former BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes Just Blaze recently suggested a Bitcoin might spike to that 1 milli mark in the current market cycle. In a new interview with DL News last week, Hayes attributed this potential surge to global financial shifts and high debt levels. Quoting him here, the Bitcoin price in this cycle is going to go very, very high, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe 1 million. So he's ultimately saying this cycle, he anticipates Bitcoin hitting several hundreds of thousands of dollars and maybe even as high as $1 million. And he also says we're entering a period of significant change in the global monetary system. Preach. Elsewhere, this dude Menon, vice president of India's largest exchange, Wazirx, commented on Bitcoin's potential. Menon believes Bitcoin could initially target between $90,000 and $100,000 per coin before this year ends. Let me know if you agree with that. Quoting him here, the 100,000 mark represents a significant psychological barrier. Bitcoin may experience substantial resistance around this level, which could affect its short-term performance. And then we also have veteran trader Peter Brandt, who also echoed the bullish outlook, predicting the Bitty can reach 150,000 by the end of 2025. And like Maradiya, Brandt's forecast is based on historical trends associated with the Bitcoin halving cycles, often leading to bullish market phases. However, Brandt also cautioned that there is a 50% chance Bitcoin might drop below 40 Gs before the effects of the latest halving fully materialize. But that's looking less likely as we're currently sitting above 61, just saying. We did tap 49 though like 3 days ago, but we didn't go as low as 40, but now we're in the clear. But what are your thoughts, family? Can you see a $1 million Bitcoin price coming into fruition sooner than later, potentially this cycle? Let me know your honest thoughts, and I will read your comments out loud. And welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream.